Home inspections. I realized that in all of the trainings we've done, I haven't really talked much about home inspections. This is an area that I'm very strong in, and probably the reason why I've assumed people know what they don't know because I know it so well. My background, general contractor for 17 years, roofer before that, grunt before that, sweeping out houses, learning all about it. And then even being a professional witness for code violation. I was court certified to be able to be a professional witness. I was paid by 13 different attorneys to do that when I was in Ohio. It was a side business and it was very fun, but it's part of this inspection process that again, to me is an automatic. And I realized, I need to regurgitate this on the paper. So here we go. You're in contract. You already did that part. You did great. Now what? Right? So as a seller, there's two different sides to this. As a seller, it's important that to be cognizant of the items that are likely to give buyers pause and moving forward with the purchase. If you can discover and take care of these issues before a buyer has a home inspection, it's a major plus. Here's the way to talk to sellers. Look, guys, if you let me just walk through the house with you right now, we're going to look for these items that are called out on a home inspection list. Here they are. And if we look through them together, our inspection list is going to go from this to, because all of a sudden all the maintenance items go away. And that can be something as simple as, hey, there's rust on these shutoff valves. WD-40 in a rag. There's white fuzz on on where the plumbing connects to the top of the hot water heater. WD-40 in a rag and wipe it off. Wipe off the whole top of the water heater so it looks fresh. Yeah, you might need a wire brush. That's right. But these are simple things. Be gentle if you use a wire brush because it can actually punch a hole if it takes off the wrong thing. So there are these things though. Instead of a wire brush, I would use a steel wool pad. So there are these variations of what you can do though to really reduce what those are going to be. The buyer, if you're on the buyer's side, schedule the inspections. They schedule the inspections. Okay. Or if the buyer says, hey, these are the inspections that I want. These are the inspectors that I want. Great. I can line them up for you. You line them up with the listing agent. So what you're going to line up? General home inspection. That's the standard. And a termite, WDO. Don't let them just write up WDO inspection. You tell them, no, this is a pest termite WDO inspection. In other words, if there's rats or whatever, you guys are going to call them out, right? Because if they just say it's WDO and there's rats in the house or something like that, they may or may not cover it. And there are companies that do this, okay? So we need to make sure it's a full pest inspection, right? WDO report comes with it, great. Okay, how about insurance inspections? Yeah. What's going to be required? Well, if it's not an older home, you're not going to need a 4-point. However, as a home typically gets, I think right now, typically before 1980, folks are going to want a 4-point or inspections are going to be needed for the insurance. Our 4-point and I guess I don't have it on here, wind mitigation. Those are the ones, okay? And we'll get into those more in depth as we go through this. Importance of quality inspections. Today's training revolves around the need for quality inspections and your ability as a realtor to review these with your buyers and sellers. You have to know how to review them with them so they don't panic when they get a 50-page report with all these pictures and think, oh my gosh, this house is falling down. No, we pay the inspector, a quality inspector, to call out everything they see so you know exactly what you're buying. But Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller, let's break this down and make sure we're getting to the points that are important and need to be dealt with versus those that are maintenance items, okay? Never forget, you're a realtor. Know the hat you're wearing when you're reviewing these things. You need to specify, and I need to tell myself this when I'm with folks. Yeah. Kent, you're not a builder. You're not an inspector. You're not a professional in any other trade. And it's like, well, yes, I am. No, I might be, but I'm not licensed in those areas anymore. So I tell people just what I just told you guys. Exactly like that. And but now I am a realtor and I need to be careful to wear that hat, guys. So if you think I'm stepping past that, you're just getting confused because I sound professional in those areas. I'm a real estate broker now. Now, negotiations may not be complete with the execution of a purchase offer. What comes next? Oh, it's blurry. There's me trying to blow things up. Bottom line is, you write your offer, you negotiate counter offer, you get it accepted. And then it takes off in two different directions at the same time, right? Remember, this is in our app files, and it's important to reflect back on when you're in a deal. Even for agents that have been in this a long time, it's important to look back at this. So you complete the mortgage application, they're running forward with that end of things. And right here is where your deal could die. We're looking for things in home inspections and in our transactions that could give a buyer pause or a lender pause. In other words, they hit the pause button and say no deal. The best way to get deals done is to have the knowledge base to back up what you're doing. And here we go. We send it into underwriting, but we don't give them a full-blown home inspection. No way. They don't want it. A full-blown home inspection, that 50-pager, will kill almost every single transaction we have. And I'm not saying we're trying to do anything wrong, God bless you, or block anybody from knowing anything, but all they really want to know is the 4-point portion. 4 points being plumbing, HVAC, electrical, and roof. All of the other maintenance stuff, maintenance nightmares, they don't care. And they don't want to know, because if they know and they send it to underwriting, it's the guy behind a desk that has no idea what they're looking at, they blow it up. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's an option. And so,
For insurance, by the way.
Yes.
right, that's it. So let's not kill it, okay? Yeah.
Tell your buyers not to send it because they,
Right.
yeah.
So
Tell
this is
them-
all part of being a pro, right?
Tell
We
them.
need to tell them. So here's the deal too. Complete the mortgage application. Yes, they've got to do their credit. And you need to, again, I'm stopping here for a minute because we need to make sure that they obey the 10 commandments, as we call them, the 10 commandments of lending. Don't blow up their own credit. Don't go buy a new car. Don't go buy that new RV like a guy did to me last year. But there are these things that all of a sudden, nope, can't afford it anymore. Your debt to income ratio went poop and you're done. Or you missed a house payment. Oh, that was smart.
Don't buy furniture on
Yes.
a credit card.
Exactly. All right, come back. This is so, again, let's say, questions at the end. Right now, we're at home inspections. This can also very easily kill the deal, or it can remove a contingency. We want to remove contingencies. And the way we remove contingencies is make sure we get a home inspector that is extremely thorough. I would rather know every single problem with a house prior to moving forward than finding out down here once the loan's approved and we've got major problems with this house. Okay, where the folks move their stuff out and there's mold. There's an issue. They'll kill a deal. So selections have been made by the buyer. You don't pick. You do not pick the inspectors. And it seems like we do, but we don't. We give them our list of vendors and say, which inspectors would you like? And by the way, let me send you a quick email. Here are the ones I work with, and they're in the order of the way I like them, but it's up to you. 99.9% of your buyers are gonna go, well, I'm gonna take the ones that you recommend. Well, I recommend all of them. These are just my favorites. Okay, we'll use your favorites. Perfect. Then that's fine. But you didn't pick them. They did. So, again, buyer's agent may line up the inspections once they pick. Never sign for your buyer. If you are at a home inspection, don't sign the inspector's docs for your buyer. If they haven't signed them, I look at the inspector and go, what? You came out here and you didn't get those signed by the buyer? Dude, email them to them right now. I'll wait. Well, I don't have you have a hot spot. Everybody does. Send them now. And I'll call them, tell them to expect them. We'll get them signed. Don't sign for them. Or what happens? That liability thing
It's now on you.
is now on you. And that's a terrible thing. Never want that to happen. And buyers have to pay for their own home inspections. You don't want the liability on you. Now, if your buyer is a very close friend and you want to help them out with the cost of their home inspection, that's fine. Let's disclose it. You pay it now. I'll get it paid back for you on the closing statement. And it goes to you and not me. That way it comes directly out of the income coming from the commission. You don't get taxed on it and they get that. Is that not a nice way to work things? And if a title company or a closing attorney won't do that for you, we need a different title company or a different closing attorney, because that means somebody's lazy and won't do their job. They don't want to cut one more check is what it boils down to. Try to schedule all inspections at the same time. The reason we do that, we're all in here, right, this morning. We've been talking about what's going on with our market. Why is it beneficial to have all of us in the same room? We can bounce ideas, things we've seen, what's going on. Same thing with inspectors when they're in your house. One might see a stain and it'd be a big deal to them, like a WDO guy, go, hey, you really ought to check this spot out, and tell the home inspector, and they go over and look, go, oh geez, I don't know how I missed that. We help each other, okay, so there we go. And inspection scheduling. This is where I was saying, schedule everything through the listing agent. Don't you dare sign or get a buyer's inspections lined up and just go and start having them. That's not the way we have access to properties, right? It has to go through the listing agent or the seller, but typically through the listing agent unless they're a non-rep, which is a pain in the butt. But anyway, everything through the listing agent. Some trainers say you remove your liability by not attending. I say horse bucky. You need to do your job and represent your buyer or seller. And that is typically by being there. For me, I gotta admit, I'll typically, if it's a local one, I'll typically go at the beginning, make sure everybody's in, everybody's started, and say, see ya. What time you think you'll be done? I'll be here 15 minutes before that because I want to be here for your review and you walk me through any of your findings, please. Okay, that's my MO. No problem with being there the whole time. Bring some documentation, some work to do. Bring your list of calls you've got to do those there, okay? And it's also typically the buyer's agent that attends, but sometimes both are present. And what I just told you is true whether I'm the listing agent or the buyer's agent. I'll greet them, make sure they're in, and then I'm out. If I'm the selling agent, I'll let the buyer's agent get them in. I'll make it 15 minutes before the end of this thing because my time is more valuable than that, okay? So I believe it's beneficial to be there to review inspection with it, especially with the general home inspection guys. They will call out things, maintenance items, stuff that you need to know. And to have an inspector walk through and go, oh, by the way, that's the stain I was talking about in this room right here. And it's the size of a penny.
Right, but on a photo.
But I had to show you, right? And now you can explain what it is, okay? And where did it come from? I don't know. Maybe a squirrel got up there and peed and now they're gone. You know, anyway, there's just things. On the other hand, if they also see a problem on the roof and they point that out to you and it's right over top that area, you know, you might have an issue. So, general home inspection. The name says it all. They are generalists. It's important to know. Some of them may have no construction background whatsoever. Or training. They just got certified, which says they're trained. I really hope that folks that we use are either certified through ASHI or through NACHI. And these are, well, it's the National Association of Home Inspectors, Certified Home Inspectors. That's the one I used to be a part of. But ASHI is the other big dog. And again, these two, if they're certified with them, they're trained. They know what they're doing. And that's important. Even if they have no construction background, they will have a good general idea on how to be a solid generalist. Okay? Now, here's the ones I choose, if at all possible. Retired electrician, retired plumber, retired builder, that also are a member of one of these. Boom. Field goal on somebody that knows what they're doing, what they're looking at. That makes me so much more comfortable with people. And I think that that's what you should look at, and it's the best inspectors I've ever found, okay? Now, let's go back to that thought process, though. Say they're a retired plumber doing home inspections. They don't have any of these certifications. No, you're not covering your butt. The liability is still there. It's not a good idea. You want to make sure they're certified, okay? That just covers you. And, you know, somebody else's liability, putting that on you, no thank you. And what we do, if every day we do things, and all of these things we do, we consider it to all be in a court of law, and all of our responses to be in a court of law, and email, our responses go from here to here. Keep them short and sweet, okay? And it's easier to record and remember. So, enough said. What to expect with a general home inspection? A written agreement between the inspector and the buyer. Expect it. If that's not there, ask for it. because your buyer deserves to know what the inspector's doing. Payment required to release the report. Duh. A lot of us didn't do that in the past when, back 20 years ago. And all of a sudden, these people started coming on the scene that just don't pay their bills when the deal doesn't work. Bad deal. Written report to be presented within 1 to 2 days. Some of the inspectors will print it while they're there. Okay, it's nice. I'm stuck, of course, right now with a plumbing inspector that has had a week and hasn't given me the images that I need to move a deal forward. And we're at the end of our first extension on that. And luckily for me, as the buyer's agent, the seller's agent recommended this plumber. Saves my hiney. And it's an out of area one. So again, it's important to know, and they should be done in a timely manner. And obviously we're dealing with a non-professional now. Photos of any problems. Gotta have photos. How about thermal imaging? This is really a nice product. Not every inspector uses it.
Yep.
And it's very helpful. It shows you where there's moisture infiltration, if there's air leaks at the ductwork, all of those various things is what thermal imaging will do. Again, if you're in a small town, you may not get anybody that has such a thing. It's expensive. Plan on 1.5 or 2 hours for an inspection. Longer if the house is larger or old. Most inspectors cringe when they're called to 1930 built home with a crawl space.
Cause they know it's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot.
What's the most dangerous part of a home for an inspector? Crawl space or the attic.
Yeah.
Typically the crawl space, okay? But I have been in attics that are equally as scary when you find yourself on trusses that are totally eaten by termites.
Yeah.
When you grab one to move forward and it comes off in your
Really?
hand and you go, oh crap.
I'm gonna go back
So,
downstairs.
Anyhow, but it's important to know. So know that it's gonna take time.
Yeah.
How about you expect, and you need to tell the inspector, I expect a verbal summary at the conclusion of the inspection. And let them know you expect that part. Here's the thing, they're not gonna remember everything they did. And so they may miss something. Don't get mad at them if they didn't tell you about a GFCI that doesn't work and it shows up on the report. There's a reason you have the report.
Yeah.
You're looking for the big items. Okay, and that's what you need. So this is a visual exam. These folks are not going to tear things apart. If they start dismantling things, that's bad.
They get some serious.
That's
crap.
bad. Yeah, they need to be licensed as builders and or in the various trades to take things apart. Okay, so just know that it's just a visual examination of physical condition. Even though, of course, they will use electrical testers, they will open up an electric panel, take pictures of things like that. This usually is not always connected with the sale of a home or building. Findings often determine the successful completion of that sale. Due to the fact that we want successful completion, what do? We work through this, and this is the next part of our negotiation. Home inspection will typically include visual inspection of the foundation, roof, attic, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, general condition of the structure itself, which again, they can't look into walls, even though some cameras will now. Maintenance issues, which will also be listed. We need to be smart enough to know how to determine what's a maintenance item versus what is major, okay?